What's up, guys? Uh, I'm gonna. I got a lot to say about this game right now. But before I do, I'm gonna show you some stuff off of What If's video. I'm gonna provide a link to his video. Please go check it out. Give him a like. Let him know I sent you. Um, but before I do, let's. I'm gonna tell you what's been going on, right? So I tried to load the game off Steam today before I came to work. I wanted to make sure everything was downloaded, everything was ready to go, so that tomorrow I can just jump on and not waste time. But the game will not load. I did post a quick short video showing you guys what's going on. Thank you for trying to help me. I did try that stuff about check the verify files thing, whatever. I am really not computer savvy. I do Google stuff. I kind of figure my way around. But I decided it's not the only problem I've been having with the computer since I got it. There are certain things, certain file error file things that pop up. I decided I'm going to reboot the PC back to factory, reinstall Windows, and start from scratch and just manually install whatever apps, whatever. And then hopefully I won't have that issue. I don't think it really had to do with the game. Everyone else seems to have access to the game. I think it has to do with my PC and Steam and some corrupted file error stuff. So I'm just resetting the PC, reinstalling Windows, and do a clean install. Hopefully that resolves the issue. Now, I honestly don't think I need to actually play. I've seen so much footage that I think I can talk about this game freely and know what I'm talking about. I'm still going to try to upload footage and stuff like that, but I don't think I'm going to find anything that everyone else hasn't already found. Also, there seems to be a problem with playing with a wheel. It's not working for anybody else. Everybody has to play with a hand controller. I don't play these games with a hand controller, so it would probably end in disaster anyway. I'm still going to try to upload what I can and give you my thoughts on that, but I've seen enough. There is plenty of footage, and I'm sure you guys have seen just about everything that's out there. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. I'm going to tell you what the problems are and why those problems exist. And before I jump into that, I am going to take one moment to just say that I do thank Motorsport Games for sending me an early copy. They sent just about everyone who's on talks about this on YouTube, as far as I can see. Doesn't matter how big or small, everybody's getting early copies. Kudos to them for doing that. Um, and I tell you, they got balls doing it because they know this game's a disaster. You would think they'd just be like, don't show anything. Let's just. I'll talk more about that in a second. But I do want to thank them. And I hope they understand that everything I say is just as somebody who wants to see them succeed. I'm rooting for these guys. I want this to succeed. Okay? So it's with the best of intentions that I say everything I'm going to say. The game is a broken demo. Half the things don't work, cautions don't work. Um, but it's too many bugs and glitches to count. Um, you can't turn off the assist for the steering. That you could set it to low, but everybody that's played it has said they don't like it. And it's noticeable. That's not good. It feels to me like this everything that this demo is set for is just for casual gamers. Um, I saw a video yesterday, very short video. I forgot the name of the person, but he spoke to one of these employees at Motorsport Games. I don't know if he's one of the developers or somebody who works with them. And they were at uh, Talladega or wherever. And he asked them a few questions about the game. And something that stood out to me that really made me scratch my head is the developer or I'm going to call him the developer. He works for Motorsport Games. But he was talking about how many offices they have all over the world, and a lot of people that he hasn't met personally. And he met when he said something about an inside joke in the company, or at least in the office he works at. He said that they were judging the uh, playability, or at least the ability to drive the car around the course or the track, by one of his co-worker's daughter, a 3-year-old daughter, that if she can navigate the car around and do a lap or something like that, um, that they knew they were good. And I think he was basically talking about that, because he was mentioning how it was going to be for hardcore gamers as well as casual. But I noticed that they do double down a lot on the casual stuff. They wanted to make sure that it's like a slot car that you could, and just hearing that made me cringe. It's like, mm, I don't think it's a good thing that you're judging the playability on a 3-year-old kid, being able to sort of navigate around the track. I don't want to take that too seriously, but it's something that disturbed me a little bit. Let's get on to some of these issues. The caution system is non-existent. I've seen it pop up maybe 2 or 3 times in different videos, and it was only after a massive pileup, a whole minute goes by of wrecks, and finally it comes out. Then sometimes the car pops up in the garage. Uh, there are small bugs and glitches. A lot of times the cars load up and they'll be fuzzy for a split second and then they render. So there's like a delay in rendering in certain aspects. Even on the track, sometimes you'll see certain things like on the fence or the line around the track where up further ahead, like we used to see the fence pop up, the shadow. Instead of that, there's just this fuzziness and then it kind of renders. It's little things like that that's also in the game, but a lot of these bugs and glitches are game breaking. Um, it's the AI is the worst thing of all. It is not ready for prime time. This game is not ready. A lot of people think that, oh, the day one patch is gonna fix it. Uh, I was told that I would have the day one patch along with the download. So I don't know. Maybe tomorrow when I download everything and set everything up, and hopefully it works, it'll have the patch. But I gotta assume some of these guys already have the patch. I'll talk more about patches in a minute. Let's I'm not gonna show you the entire video. This is What If Racing's video. Out of respect to him, go check it out on his channel. Give him a like, let him know I sent you. But I do want to highlight a few things.
Here, and welcome to NASCAR 21 Ignition.
First of all, yeah, it's a clean layout, but there isn't a lot going on. There are no custom setups. I knew that. A lot of people were still holding out hope. I'm not really heartbroken over that for the first game. I want to go further.
Thankfully, the wonderful people, little juicy taste of what the game's like. So,
all right, let's look at.
So here's like the menu.
You got this part of the menu. You got qualifying race length, field size. You could do clear skies, cloudy, stuff like that. That's cool. You got temperature. You can actually change the temperature. I don't know how much the temperature plays into the actual physics. I don't know. And judging by nothing works in the game anyway. So really it doesn't matter at this point. The damage model, you got visual, you got you got realistic, and then there's this other one. I will say this about the damage model. It's very hit and miss. When it hits, it's actually very impressive. Those of you who are really keen on damage model, when it works, it's actually impressive. I'm actually surprised. There are moments where the damage is realistic. There are things like Tires getting cut. Although there are issues with it, but the fact that you can cut a tire just beating and banging with other cars, hitting the wall, spinning out. If you spin out, you can blow a tire. So I love that stuff. I think it has the potential to promote cleaner racing, but we're talking about potential. The reality is it does happen too much, too easily. That needs a lot of work. The tire wear and consumption is either on or off. There's no 2 times, 4 times, 8 times wear. I suppose I'm assuming that when it's off, it's off, and when it's on, it's just whatever they consider realistic tire wear and fuel consumption, which is okay if it works. NASCAR rules, they're either on or off. If you go under the line, even at a track like Phoenix, you get black flagged. That should not happen. That should only happen at Daytona, Talladega. And even at Daytona, Talladega, I've seen footage of people going below the yellow and going back up, not being near another car, not actually passing anyone. You shouldn't get black flagged for that. You're only black flagged if you make a pass under the yellow. That shouldn't happen. Um, let's move forward.
And stuff and what you can do. You have qualifying race, 15%. You can change the field size to whatever you would like. You can
All right, let's
menu
move
here,
forward.
which is nice. And we'll get to pick the track. Obviously, I have all this kind of picked.
There's other
you can
settings.
Kind of get a look at what this all looks like.
I thought we were going to see that.
Honestly,
I forgot.
Nice looking.
Now, a lot of times, I don't remember if it happened in this video, but I've seen it in a lot of videos. Whenever you see a cut to a car to where there's cars, the cars are fuzzy for like a split second and then they render. Just like I said on the track, there are sometimes objects that are blurry and then they render in real time. Sometimes as the car pops into a scene, or sometimes where they cut to like pit road and you see a row of cars, the cars will be blurry and then they clear up and they're perfectly fine after that. There's a delay in rendering. That shouldn't happen.
Also, the driver menu. This is pretty cool because this gives me Thunder 04 vibes where it has the stats, like the driver stats. Taking a note out of Disco Inferno's book. Shout out to him. That man is a
wait a minute. Absolute I didn't remember this.
So I'm taking a note out of Disco Inferno's book. Shout out to him. That man is
Thank you, man.
Absolute legend. So we're gonna use the dash and the car setup. We are gonna put the setup to a 5, which is the default. No custom setups. I think it's on the menu before, but
wheels aren't working. There isn't really a deep settings menu. A lot of times I've seen people try to set certain assists or certain things a certain way, and when they go back, it's not saved.
But I have it on the second hardest one, which is Champion, and then the other one's like, so I don't know why they have difficulty.
Okay, here we go.
I don't know why they don't have difficulty. Like,
so you can turn off every assist except steering. You have to have it on low. That's a big problem. Everyone's complaining about it.
It's just this is just the assist, so I don't know why they have difficulty here. That's bizarre. Yeah, I have the driving line off. I can't make the steering assist off, which is I'm going to complain about that a lot in this race.
Okay.
But there's a lot of different things I want to talk about when we get to that. But first and foremost, hello, old man. But yeah, we're gonna go. We're just gonna go straight into qualifying.
Here. Let's put down a flyer.
So just,
I don't like how you just pop up on the track at speed. I would expect from a game that's supposedly aiming for realism, let you drive off pit road and on the track and follow the rules where you have to stay below the line till you get past out of the second turn and stuff like that, instead of just dropping you. And this has the feel of a demo. It just feels like a demo. It's just drop you on the track and then you just gain control at a certain point without warning. Another thing is I've seen during the races a lot of glitches with the AI. They'll just pop up towards you and when you cross the line. frame rate stutter. There are a lot of frame rate issues.
Just like that, just throws us straight into it. I mean, pretty rapidly. And obviously, we only get one lap, which is kind of like a throwback to the Heat games where they would only give you one lap. I don't know why they don't just give you two.
Good points.
39. Wow. That was odd. And Carvick's on pole. Wasn't that just cute? Well, let's go to the track. I mean, it's...
Let us take a sightseeing tour.
Discover the world of the French Dispatch.
Bit of sports, bit of crime, bit of politics.
It's a rock.
All right. Let's see
the most logical conclusion we can do next. Don't know.
Caution. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but you know, the caution always happens here. It doesn't happen when it's supposed to, but you know, yeah, it's a glitch. It's a start of a race. Yeah.
I don't know why there's a caution. I just booted the game. At least I just did the thing. So I don't have control on the car here. I only have it when I cross the line here, which is a throwback to 2011 because that's what they would used to do, and I believe inside line as well.
They didn't do it there, but it does it in a lot of videos.
Yeah, there's one thing I have a huge problem with is the steering assist. It constantly wants to throw your car into the outside wall. It is.
Everybody's complaining about it. So, okay, you know what? That might be something they can just fix easily. There are some small things that they'll be able to patch, hopefully. Let's move on.
It's so annoying.
I want to get to...
I fixing a patch, maybe. Why is there no track map? And see the way the car just wiggled there? I mean, it just does things. You need to click back and you see behind you and then... It will happen eventually. Holy Christmas crackers, okay. We're actually going to make a...
The cars, even when they spread out, you'll still have these packs that are together. A lot of this, it reminds me more of Daytona Talladega than anything. It's the same complaints I've had with Eutechnics and the Heat games early on. Remember when I would talk about how the field doesn't spread out enough, and when they do, there's still clumps of packs together that never separate? And when you catch them, it's a pain in the ass to pass because they're all in a clump and a pack. If you've been with me long enough, you'll remember that I've talked about all this stuff years ago. And it's here again.
Pass on someone. Hooray. All right, I was just make contact with him. That was smart. What?
You know, there's that apron issue. These cars randomly go on the apron, floating. And even though the cars many times start moving and getting out of like being in a rail, they move around but it doesn't make sense a lot of the times, especially at Daytona Talladega. You see cars constantly getting 3 and 4 wide when you're not going to move forward that way. You have to stay in a conga line to maintain speed. I hate pack racing. I hate conga lines. I hate Daytona Talladega. But that's not how you race there. And these cars all going 3 wide and shuffling, and you don't do that. You don't even get out of line unless you feel like I can make a move and I got help. That's how pack racing works. And you constantly see these cars jumbling around and going 3 and 4 wide, and it just doesn't make sense a lot of the time. I do want to see cars moving around. I want to see cars not just on a rail, but this doesn't look right.
What the hell is that car doing? Did you see that car on the apron?
That's not too bad there, but
why are they in a train? Oh, this is making me.
They're on a rail. Salty. They're in a pack. They're in lap 7. A lot of the other cars up front, you see cars that are more spread out. There's just these clumps of cars together in packs. It just brings deja vu. Early Heat games and Eutechnics. Not good.
Yeah, as you see, we're starting to catch up on them.
The AI
needs outside, but I didn't do that.
Needs a lot of work. The worst thing that I've seen in the whole game is really the AI. There are bugs and glitches that need to be fixed, but the AI is just not ready.
Get a good route corner to Makes you
Nowhere
pass. Now
near
it seems like hitting going below the apron like this, like you're supposed to at Vegas, because real life drivers do that and stuff. It seems like it doesn't. The game doesn't like you when he does that. With these assists that the game forces you on, because it just wants to like yeet you into the wall. As you see right there, it just turned right.
The spotter needs work also. I like a busy spotter, but that repetitive, one line like or two words like over, they got to have more variety. But even more important, the spotter is not accurate. I've seen in other videos where he'll tell you you're clear and you can see somebody right next to you or right next to the player. A spotter that isn't accurate is just not good enough. This needs so much work.
It seems like if you let off the stick at all, so you can't do the tapping method. Maybe if you just like, I don't know.
Let's move forward. There's something. All right, the damage model, like I said, it's hit and miss.
Like, I can't do shit if it's just gonna turn right by itself. Like, I want it. Like, that's the problem.
The AI never slows down. They don't care. There could be a 20-car pileup, and they'll just come full speed, mashing the throttle, and they'll just smash in there like they want to commit suicide. There's no sense of awareness with the AI. There's no crash avoidance system in place. How the hell do you release this in a week?
This is the sad thing is this is the best track for these settings. Like
Yeah, a mile and a half oval like this, you shouldn't have some of these issues. It's like you would expect a lot of craziness at a road course or a short track. Now, there is something else what I wanted to do if I was able to play was to do a green flag pit stop. I haven't seen anyone do it except What If, and he does. So I want to get to that if I can. I don't know if they started pitting here. No, this is early. It was, bear with me. Come on. All right, they're already pitting. Okay. Now, I was really curious. I wanted to know how the pit stops are.
it was a lap down, like
Let's see.
30 laps ago. I remember. I don't think I've ever.
Fuck. All right. Sorry, guys. All right.
Ever seen a leaderboard that just does whatever the fuck it wants? Like, it shows random positions all over the place.
That's another thing, and I've seen this in other videos. This thing will go crazy. This leaderboard, you'll see people all over the place where it doesn't make sense. Even though cars are pitting, it shouldn't look like that.
Right now it's showing 6th, 7th, and 8th.
All right, so
40th,
there's people
32nd. Like, what? I can't even, like, what's the point of a leaderboard if I can't even tell, like, who's around me? So now it's showing 6th,
Thank you.
32nd, 31st. Like, what is that? Like, goodness gracious. Like, in terms of trying to tell, like, who's on lead lap and who's not, it doesn't even tell you that. It just tells me Kyle Larson's 8/10 of a second back, but he's in 32nd. So why tell me he's 8/10 of a second back? Just tell me, like, if he's a lap down or not. Like, what, why, like...
No.
I don't know, man. It's just, some of this stuff is just bizarre. I mean, I'm trying to let Larson by. He has fresher tires, so it's not like
earlier. Okay, right here.
Go.
Sorry, guys. This is the last thing I want to show you before I move on.
So slow. Like,
Watch
we get passed
these cars
by everyone.
pitting. My
We
God,
go straight
this is
to
not
last,
good.
and then
I'm sorry, my
as the run goes on, we
internet is
actually
really
just
slow right now.
destroy-
Fuck. Let me pause this. Let it load a little bit. I'm so sorry, man. This is really bad quality. I couldn't do it at home. I'm stuck at work. I got to work overtime. It's just I'm really pressed for time. Look at these cars pitting. This is what I want you to see.
In terms of like race pace, now they're pitting.
Look at how perfectly aligned they are. They're on rails. Now, I was worried they would just be crashing into each other and, it would be a mess. So on the good side, it's not. But on the bad side is they're perfectly on rails. That's not good.
Why? We can make it on fuel.
And the pit logic, once again, not working. We've seen this with heat gains. We've seen this with Eutechnics. The pit logic is always fucked up. Cars pitting when they don't need to. A lot of cars, I don't know if they do that here, but I remember cars staying out under caution with old tires and no fuel. And then as soon as the race goes back to green, they pit. Game breaking stuff. This is not good. I'm done. I'm done. So, thank you, What If. Please go check this out. Give them a thumbs up. Let them know I sent you. Now, let's just get down to the reality of things. This game is broken. There are people who think that they're going to patch it by the release date. There is no magic patch. I hate to break it to you guys. Those of you who've been with me a long time, you will remember that I've talked a lot about this stuff in the past through the years. I've been doing these videos for 10 years now. You've heard me talk about patches. I don't really believe that much in patches. Yes, you can fix certain things, but how many times have we seen big patches, big downloads, big patches that don't fix anything and sometimes make the games worse? People think there's this magic patch that's just going to fix everything and make it, perfect. Even if it's not perfect. There are too many bugs and glitches, game-breaking things here. It's not going to be fixed by the release date. And who knows? It might take 5 to 10 patches, and even then, I don't have a lot of faith in patches. I'm sorry, I don't. I've seen too much through the years, and people always think that that patch that's coming, that they're waiting for, is going to finally fix things. We saw early patches to NASCAR Heat 5 didn't fix basic, simple bugs and glitches. Nothing game-breaking like this. Just simple bugs, quirky things. It pains me to have to say all this because I'm rooting for these guys. But I'm going to explain to you what's wrong and why. Because it's important to understand why these problems are here just as much as pointing something simple out like, hey, look, cautions are broken. AI doesn't stop when there's a wreck. Everything's hit and miss. The AI's just terrible. There's too many things to list. It's all broken because of the fact that they're rushing this game. This game is not ready for prime time. This game needs another 6 months in the oven, at least, from what I see here. I don't see anything that's going to be easily fixed with patches. The state that this is in, it's irresponsible to release this in this state. And it's not the first time a developer has released games that are broken. It happens all the time, unfortunately, because that's where we live today. They have conditioned consumers to accept buying a broken game and living with it and hoping that the developer magically creates patches that are going to fix everything. And they are sometimes able to fix games, but it takes time. It takes multiple attempts. Sometimes they actually fix something but introduce new problems. This is beyond any minor typical bugs and glitches that comes with most games. And as you know, with most games, everything now comes with a day one patch. Why? Because, like I said, developers and publishers have conditioned consumers to just accept and expect games that just aren't running the way they should on day one. It's just common business practice now. There is no such thing as quality control anymore. There used to be something where, well, there used to be entire departments devoted to quality control in the video game industry. Now we're going way back, but I remember before, first of all, you couldn't buy games digitally. The internet was still in its infancy when it comes to online gaming and multiplayer. It was really all about making sure that that physical copy that went shipped to the stores had to work. It would be a disaster to ship products that were broken or having massive bugs and glitches because you can't fix it with a patch or over the internet. All you could do is accept people returning copies. That's a lot of money. That's a disaster. So they had dedicated quality control departments, which their whole job was to test and make sure that anything they found would be fixed before the game was officially given the stamp of approval by Sony or Microsoft or whoever, right? They had to pass certain quality control uh, thresholds. That doesn't exist anymore. You can look at Cyberpunk. That game wasn't ready for release, and they did delay that. And now people are playing a game, and I think maybe they've issued patches and slowly fixed certain things, but that game doesn't run the way people were expecting it to run. And this is commonplace. But this problem is exacerbated in the sports title uh, department. These yearly sports games are even worse because they don't care. They don't delay games. They release games every fucking year at the same time because they're off to the next game. These games are every year. The real patch for this game, come on. Sorry. The real patch for this game is called NASCAR 22 Ignition. The next game that they're already working on, by the way, and have been for some time, which is mind blowing to me. How a company can decide, let's start working on that next game when this game is in this condition today. And when they announced, first of all, they confirmed that like a while ago, well over a month. They confirmed that they were already on the second game, that it's been in development for a while, and that they're hoping to release it earlier in the year. I talked about that. How are you devoting resources and manpower to a game that's coming out next year when the game that you are about to release that's not even out yet is this fucked up? That is mind blowing to me that anybody could make a decision like that. I am not an expert in game development. I'm not an expert in marketing, and I'm not a business expert. But I'm a consumer with common sense. And it doesn't make sense to me that anybody would do that. Now, the only reason that I can see that they do this is because they don't want to go and tell the shareholders and their investors that they have to delay this product. Because these investors and shareholders, all they care about is their quarterly statements. They want to know what their projected earnings for the quarter are. What is their projected stock going to be a year from now? It's all short term. Now, there are some investors, the smart ones, the really successful investors, understand that many times, more often than not, you have to take a hit early when you make an investment. You know, going in, I might take a hit. Excuse me. Excuse me. You might take a hit early on financially, You might have to face delays with a product. You have to accept that going in if you're smart, because it's not about the next quarterly statement. It's not about the projected year. This is about long term. This is about the next 3 to 5 years. That's what a smart investor is thinking of. And unfortunately, a lot of these people, they care about is the quarterly statements and the projected earnings for the upcoming year. They don't care. But as a company, it is irresponsible to release a game in this condition, knowing full well you're not going to be able to fix this level of problems. And this is the most important product in the history of motorsport games. No matter how many games they end up making, no matter how good those games may turn out to be, this is their first official product as a company, which is why it's the most important. And I said this a long time ago, they cannot afford another NASCAR Heat Evolution. They cannot, the community isn't going to accept this. And in many ways, 704 never really recovered from that disaster. And who knows? Maybe they would still be making NASCAR games if NASCAR Heat Evolution was where it needed to be. A lot of people walked away when they saw that and didn't care. And just said, I don't trust this company. I don't like where this is going. If another developer in the future takes over, maybe I'll look back into it. And they, right then and there, they hurt a lot of their future potential customers. I mean, they hurt their prospects. And even though you have to give them credit, they really did improve as each game came out, but it was too late. And they were always way behind. These guys had a lot of ambition, and I applaud that. And I also agree with a lot of their decisions concerning the development of the game, like only sticking the cup. Don't worry about Truck and Xfinity. Let's make sure we have this product working. The problem is it's not working. I do not blame the developers, the actual guys who sit and crunch the numbers and do the coding and actually build and work on the game. They're not to blame. Okay? They have talent. There are things that you can see that there's potential. It's not their fault. It's the people above making the decisions who tell them you only have this amount of time to get this done. And that's it. These people are not magicians. And you have to give them the proper amount of time. They have good resources. You got this Unity engine that everybody wanted. By the way, another thing I talked about, blaming everything on the Unity engine. And I always told people, these game engines are tools and they're canvases to build a game on. And it is important, you would rather have the Unreal Engine over the Unity. It is a better engine. Please hold on. Hello, engineers. Sorry, guys. I am at work. Where was I? Game engines. It's not going to magically fix everything on its own. At the end of the day, it's up to the people working on the game, and you have to give them time. You can't blame the Unity engine for any of this. So it sucks because there's so much potential, but this game is nowhere near ready. And if you give these people the time they need, I'm sure that they can actually produce a really good game. But that's the problem with this fucking yearly business model, yearly release for these sports titles. It's always going to be like this. Games are going to come out. They're going to have all kinds of bugs and glitches. You're going to hope that some patches work. But then eventually they just move on to the next game. They're already working on this next game. I don't know for the life of me how they could decide that, because if today this game is in this condition, could you imagine 2 months ago or a month and a half, whenever it was, remember when they revealed the game trailer and the release date? They had to know this game was nowhere near ready, and they still forged ahead. Do not buy this game. And if you want to wait and see if these patches do anything, by all means. We cannot reward these decisions. We can't reward this business model. You got to let them know, I'll buy the game when it works the way it's supposed to. It's not the consumer's responsibility to buy a product that doesn't work and then sit around and wait for you to finally figure it out and hopefully fix things through a patch. And then what? This is not good. And it really bothers me that it has to be like this. It's the truth. It is what it is. And I cannot in good conscience recommend this game to anybody. I can't. And I'm probably going to not, they're not, these guys at Motorsport Games, I don't think they're going to be fans of mine. That's for sure. But what can I tell you? I'm not going to tell people something's not broken when it's broken. There's too much broken, too many issues. And I'm sure most of you guys have already seen a lot of really bad footage. And a lot of people have just taken to wrecking these cars, driving backwards, because it's hilarious to see some of these bugs and glitches, but it's not so funny when you paid $60 for it. This shouldn't be anywhere near this bad. And I came in expecting bugs and glitches. I knew that things weren't going to run, perfect. I knew that, and that's fine. This is way beyond. Way beyond. I don't know what to tell you guys. Yeah, those are my thoughts. And I'm telling you, this business model is the main reason why we have this, and it's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. They're not going to delay these games. They're going to release one every year. No matter in what state it's in, it's coming out. Where is the quality control? Is there anyone actually paying attention? Nothing that you've seen in all of these fucked up footage videos, there's nothing there that was hidden. A lot of this stuff it just pops up the moment you start playing. And that's proof to me there is no quality control. They just try to fix things as they're working on the game. If something just pops up there, they'll probably try to fix it. That's about it. So I don't know. This is not good. So, oh boy. There's not a magic there's not going to be a magic patch, guys. They'll try to fix a few things, and who knows what else it might introduce. It's just not. That's the history of these things. We see it every year. So, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. I will try to post as I can. I'm very busy, but I'll try. But the good news is, there's nothing that I'm going to be able to show you that you can't already see with all of these videos that are coming out every day. Motorsport games, you really have to sacrifice and bite the bullet. At some point, you have to delay something that's not ready. This game, and I said this earlier, I personally would have waited for the next gen car next year. I would have centered the game around the next gen car. This car wouldn't have even been in the game. It would have been all about the next gen car, and I would have centered the game around that. The Daytona road course is in the game, which is great for those who like it, but it's not even part of the Cup Series schedule anymore. A lot of changes have happened. I would have waited to 2022. I would have made sure everything was ready. And if it had to wait another 6 to 8 months, so be it. And your investors would have not been happy about it. But you got to do what's right. This isn't good for the investor either. This is going to backfire. Mark my words. I look forward to your comments later.